Hey y'all, one of the biggest sets of questions I get is on indicators. What are the best indicators to use for day trading? What are my favorite indicators? Everyone's always looking for that holy grail of indicator to help them have confidence in their entries, give them the best entries and exits, and really give them an eye on everything that's going on in the market. The problem with that is there's no such thing as a holy grail of indicator. Your holy grail is going to be your edge, and your edge is going to be when you can see the charts and interpret them live in real time when the market's moving and make a judgment call and figure out where your entries and exits should be while the market's moving. It's a lot harder to do when your chart is messy and you have so many indicators on your chart that it gives you analysis paralysis. And I want to give y'all kind of a walkthrough of why that is and help you kind of figure out how to clean up your charts and make trading easier for you. So I'm going to start by showing you a chart that might be familiar to you if you've ever watched one of my lives. And this is my low time frame intraday chart. I usually keep it on a 2-minute. This really helps me pinpoint my entries and my exits and all of my little targets. It helps give me kind of a bird's eye view of what's going on in the market. But as you'll see, this is a really clean chart. But I didn't start here. Like everyone else, I tried every single indicator under the sun, trying to figure out just a way to see the market a little bit more clearly until it finally dawned on me that the best thing to do is just study, and figure out how to read this darn thing in real time. But let me show you where it kind of started. So you may know me as kind of being an SPX trader. I've switched over to futures, but I started out trading a lot of SPY and SPX options, and I was basically using a chart like this. And this has all of the things I wanted to watch all in one place. So basically what I did is I had the right idea here. I've got multiple time frames that I can watch. You know, we've got price on there and we've got a lot of indicators. I've got EMAs, I have the Keltner channels, I have levels. So this is an indicator that I have, but you could use pivots, anything to kind of find levels. I've got a signal indicator going on here. I've got a trailing ATR. I've got the squeeze. I've got some other indicators, some premium indicators that I bought that came with some classes and things. So in theory, this is going to give me all of the information I need to make good entries and exits in the market. The problem with this chart is the thing that I need to see most is really the price action and the levels where my entries and exits are. At least that's where I found my edge, is waiting for the market to come to me at predetermined areas in the market that I found after studying charts. So this is just really too much. That's what the thing that's hardest to see here is where those individual levels are. I have arrows pointing up and down. I've got candles that change color. I've got all these other indicators, but I still can't really see when to get in and out because there's just too much going on. I've got up arrows at the same time I've got down arrows. This doesn't give me any confidence at all. In fact, this is one of those charts that just really gives me analysis paralysis. Now this is watching the indexes. Of course, I'm also watching stocks all the time. So y'all know I watch tech stocks. I'm always watching other stocks too. So this is really one of the old chart layouts that I have saved. This is kind of the similar idea. I like to watch the squeeze. And this is when I was developing the mole roll. You can kind of see some things that are going on in here. I've got signals going on, but again, I've got like red candles and red signals and then green signals happening and then EMAs. Like, where's the entry? This doesn't actually give me any edge at all, having all of this stuff on the charts. Here's another one, watching indexes. Another solid attempt here. I've got free indicators, I've got paid indicators, a lot going on, but at the same time, it's even hard just to find the trend in all of this mess. Like what trend is going on? I can rely on all these indicators, but sometimes it's easier to just look at this chart moving straight up to see that we're in an uptrend. I don't need all of this other junk trying to tell me. It's really just that simple, y'all. If you see the chart moving up, we're in an uptrend. I don't need 15 things trying to throw me green boxes and green arrows and all of this other nonsense. It's really hard to see what's going on in the market when there's this much going on your charts. So I'm going to show you this chart for a second. Also, this is a chart from a class I took from Simpler Trading. This is from Sam's class. I don't know if he still uses this chart, but this chart really helped me kind of figure out what I needed to do to create charts, because he's got a lot going on and I don't necessarily connect with all of these indicators, but what I did is basically recreate the layout that he had in the class and add every single indicator. And what he does in the class is kind of step you through why each indicator is there and what the logic behind it is. Even though these are proprietary indicators down here, these are premium indicators, he at least explains what you're looking for on them. And so that really helped me kind of say, okay, well, he can't see that in the price action, and that's why that indicator's there. So, slowly but surely, all of this started to kind of make sense to me. So just seeing this really stripped down, there's multi-time frames because you've got entry, you've got, 5 minute will kind of really help you figure out where your exits and targets can be on an intraday. And then there's always an anchor chart, a higher time frame chart to watch. So at a point, I just took those messy charts that I showed you at the beginning and just threw them out. And I started with a bare bones chart. And I just wanted to look at it from the perspective of, what do I need to see? What indicators do I need to add to be able to see the things that I can't see through price action alone? One of the things is, of course, trend. One of the very first things that I ended up adding back to my chart is VWAP. We're on a trend today, and this is live during the market, so I'll have to zoom out a little bit, but here is VWAP. And if you've watched any of my lives, you'll see that I use 2 VWAPs. The solid VWAP is the full session, and then the dotted line is the cash session VWAP that just starts at the regular trading hours. And I just have to have those on my chart to kind of help me determine trend when it might be harder to tell when we're in times of chop. And those also give me some really great entries and exits depending on how the market's moving. The other thing that I had to add back is just some support and resistance. Now, if you watch my system at all, you'll know I find all of my support and resistance levels manually based on a lot of different things. I'm looking for confluence with just pure support and resistance, volume profile, structure, all kinds of things. And that's how I come up with these levels. If you're not ready for that, that's fine. You can still use pivots or basic indicators. So these blue levels on here are automatic from an indicator. And this again is one of my indicators that I created. But if you're not ready for that, there's plenty of pivots and all sorts of things that you can use. These are basically pivots that I'm using some Fibonacci math to come up with. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but you do need some sort of levels to play off of. So you're not entering when the market's deciding what to do, and you're waiting until you're kind of at those edges and can either make a trade. But you want to buy low or sell high, not in the middle, or vice versa. So that's what you need, kind of some levels and areas in the market. Maybe you're using EMAs, maybe you're using something like that, but you can't use everything all at once is my point. So find the thing that that helps you most, that's your edge in finding the edges of the market where we're more likely to have a reversal or a breakout point, because that's really what support and resistance and any of these pivots are all about. So the other thing I'm watching is, I kind of mentioned earlier that I like to watch the squeeze, and I was kind of working on my own version of that. And that's what this is. I'm watching basically the squeeze histogram on multiple time frames with this little tool down here. You don't have to have this tool. You just have to have a tool that helps you kind of see something that you like to keep an eye on, which for me is the squeeze. So that's what this guy's doing here. You don't have to have this, but if there's a tool that you really miss, just try to keep the most basic version of it. It's the KISS method, the keep it simple, stupid, absolutely applies to your charts and in trading. You just have to keep everything as simple as possible. The other thing that I like to kind of keep on this chart is this line chart, and I have a video on how to make this. This isn't an indicator, it's a comparison line chart. So it's just, instead of candlesticks, I'm watching a line chart, and then I've added other tickers on there to compare with. And this is another way where I can just, on a really simple one little box, one little chart here, see if there's any other chart that I need to go look at and take a closer look at. So ES is my main market. I keep it big, and then I have the other markets that I may need to watch here. I was just on a live stream and we were trading crude oil. So I have the crude oil chart here. A lot of the times this might be NASDAQ, and then I keep the other confirmation that I like to watch down here, the dollar. But these are the absolute core things that I must have, and that's what I keep on my intraday chart. I just keep it really simple. Now, on another screen, I like to keep a look at all the different time frames, and I keep this chart really simple too, but I keep it a little bit different. I'll show you how I use this one. So just like the 2-minute, I have all of my levels of support and resistance, whether I'm using pivots or manual support and resistance. I always like to have those on my lower time frame charts. It gets pretty chaotic when I start pulling it up to the higher time frames, so I just leave it off of there because again, I want to keep my charts as clean and simple as possible. The 15-minute happens to be my favorite to watch the mode roll on, so I have that on here, along with a little signal indicator. And this can be like there's tons of great free ones. Super Trend, there's a ton of them, ton of great free little signal indicators if you want to watch one of those. Of course, they're always going to be more reliable on a higher time frame chart, so I just keep it on a 15-minute just to kind of keep an eye on what the signal indicators are looking at right now and what they might be throwing. Of course, they're not always right. So you can see all these little downtrends, they haven't all paid out. So you can't just rely on an indicator. You have to learn how to trade. Your edge is going to be in learning how to use a system to trade. So I always want to keep an eye on the higher time frames. I do watch the daily all day long, not just at the end of the day. But I like to watch the hourly because this is going to, again, give me a really good idea of trend that I can't see zoomed in on that little 2-minute chart. But what I end up doing is I'll have this on one screen and this on another screen, unless I'm on my laptop, because when I'm mobile, I just keep a little tiny 13-inch laptop with me and I can't watch all that at once. I just keep it in tabs. So this will be my main trading chart, and when I want to glance at a higher time frame, I can just swap over here and still everything's really clean. I'm not trying to watch everything all at once and give myself analysis paralysis. I'm just trying to have all of the information that I need at my fingertips so I can get to it really close, and so I know when to go switch over and look at it. So I also like to watch a much higher time frame chart, so I'll keep this on the 6-hour. I'll flip it over to the daily. But again, this one I'm just keeping really simple and super clean, because when you're on super high time frame charts, it can get really crazy. I do like to watch some EMAs and things on a daily chart, but I keep it really, really stripped down. So if I'm on this chart here, I do keep another layout that's a more detailed version of this. So this line chart up here where I'm comparing all the different markets, I'm comparing them to see what's going on. If I see these start trending up or down, I might want to take a closer look at it. So I keep this other layout. And again, this is just simple, simple, simple. And this is what I'm trying to show y'all. I keep it color coded so it's easy. And then I keep this bare bones. The only indicator that I have on this chart is VWAP. And we've traveled away from it on some of these other, because again, we're trending today, but I just keep it really, really simple so I can see trend across all of the markets on one chart. I don't need a ton of indicators to do this. The candlesticks are going to do that for me. And then VWAP's just going to give me a very basic idea of relatively how are these trading compared to something that they all have in common, which in this case is the VWAP. And then I do still watch other stocks. I'm not just trading the indexes. Of course, even if you're just trading the indexes, you want to keep an eye on the tech stocks anyway. So I keep a tech stock chart. I don't chart all of these all the time. So I keep, again, this is my pivots indicator. It doesn't matter if it's mine or someone else's, just to give you an idea of where some basic levels can be already loaded for you. It's nice to have, but you don't need all the EMAs, all the signals, all the everything. Just keep it really, really simple, because on this chart, it's really easy to see. I can kind of zoom out real quick and get a really quick idea of what's trending, what's consolidating. Is everything moving together? Is it mixed conditions in the market today? That sort of thing. The other chart that I like to watch a lot is the TPO chart, and this is what a TPO chart is. I'm not going to go into detail on how to use this, but I don't need to watch this all day. I don't keep it up all day. It's always in a tab that I can go check and look and see if I need to adjust any of my levels intraday. But I don't keep this up. I don't have everything up all the time. For the most part, I'm sticking to this chart right here when I'm actually trading, and then getting any broader information I need from higher time frame charts, from these market context charts, just taking an eye on everything that's going on at once. But if you'll notice, and I can make a lot of money from this setup right here, I do not have these loaded up with EMAs. So I hope this really helps, and I am working on a playlist to kind of explain all of my different systems to you. So hopefully you can find some things that'll help you in your edge, kind of learning more about my edge. So I'm working on that playlist. You're welcome to join me for lives and ask me any questions you have. And I hope this really helps. Take care. Love y'all.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.